it's Tony from Cassette Come Back. So we're going to look at a cassette today from a brand which is a brand I remember from my youth. I really do remember this brand, and it is Academy. Now, I remember Academy stuff being almost universally sold on market stalls and in one of the favourite types of shops of mine from my youth. I don't know if you remember them, they were like called fancy goods stores. And they always had electronics and toys and watches and stuff like that. And it was all universally, you know, stacked to the ceilings and cheap. And I remember Academy stuff being quite prominent in there. In fact, I remember when I was young, I had a pair of headphone-based walkie-talkies that were made by Academy, and they were really good. I mean, we're talking late 80s here, and they were voice activated, so basically we used to wear them while riding our bikes, and I recall them being really good, and I really liked them. But a lot of Academy stuff, I'm sure, was rubbish. I mean, I remember my dad had some Academy speakers in his car, and they weren't great. I mean, you know, Academy you'd put in, you know, with the likes of Maxim, you know, and Waltham as low quality brands, usually Hong Kong, that were so cheap, like I say, in market stalls or in fancy goods stores. And when I was going through my tapes, I came across this one. It's like, whoa, an Academy tape. And yeah, I mean, let's be honest, this looks deliciously shit, doesn't it? It really does. I mean, they're trying to mimic TDK here with the style, with the grid at the top and the different lines, and, you know, they're trying, but underneath you're looking at it and you're thinking, yeah, this is gonna be a smelly type zero, isn't it? But, you know, for retro cool, just purely for aesthetics, I think this is great. I mean, this, you know, this summarises what you would find on the shelves of fancy goods stores and market stalls in the mid 80s. Yeah, you know, the compact cassette logos there. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say. I mean, there's nothing on the back. There's no hyperbole here about how amazing this cassette is, even though it'll be substandard. No, this is yeah, this is a pretty, yeah, like I say, it looks bad, but it's a good looking bad, if that makes any sense at all to you. So, right, let's open this up and have a look at the tape inside. Let's see what joyous, low noise, high output, or shall we say high noise, low output sort of tape we're going to have inside here, because, yeah, I'm not holding out a lot of hope for this one, but let's have a look-see all the same. I'd actually quite like, as best I can, I'm doing a bad job to try and save this wrapper, because the wrapper is cool. So there we go. Hey, we got most of it out. So let's have a look. So the shell. Now the shell, gotta be honest here, just looking at this shell. This shell reminds me of the TDK True Mechanism sort of shell. Just have I got one of these handy? Just bear with me a second. Let me find one. No, I was wrong. The True Mechanism doesn't have that style of ridged shell. It's actually the back of the case of the True Mechanism that I was getting confused with, because it's that sort of pattern. But yeah, so yeah, there's the tape itself. The J card. Like I say, it's trying hard, isn't it, to look TDK-ish. It's sort of tried. It's taking little hints here and there. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's trying, but yeah, why not? If you can emulate something, emulate the best-selling. But other than that, nothing spectacular. Oh yeah, you can put all the time and date and everything there just to be on the safe side. Yeah, it actually looks like a later TDK J card, for one I don't have handy. It looks like the sort of 82 version. But right, the tape itself, clear sticker. Right, let's wind it on, if it winds on, and see what the horror of this tape looks like. Okay, so the tape itself doesn't look like your typical Type 0. It's actually calendared. It's actually got a bit of shine to it, and it's a bit dark. So I'm thinking, is this re-slit videotape already? Even though there's no actual proof that that actually happened. Yeah, there we go. So I'm curious. So shiny-ish tape. The shell is not as bad as some Type 0s. It's not like the black, you know, Acme type shells. It is screwed. Yeah, it's. I'm pretty sure if we look at the hubs, we won't see anything. But what is quite nice is that if you look, it actually has some blue markings on the leader, which you don't normally get on the Type 0. Tell you what, shall we open it up, see if we can have a look at the hub, see if that's any good? Yeah. Right, let's have a look. Let's do this live. Let me just. This has got a screwed shell as well, which is nice. And it hasn't broken while we're doing this. In fact, if it's got slip sheets in, that'd be a bonus, wouldn't it? Some of these Type 0s don't. Let's have a look. Right, that's slip sheets. Oh, look at that. It's got bubble slip sheets like you used to find in TDKs. Bubble slip sheets, very nice. But other than that, the hubs are indistinct. Can't really make anything out from that. But yeah, the bubble slip sheet. That's quite a nice little touch. That. Right, I guess I'll just put it back together again now, and then we'll go and put it into a deck, see if it can actually be calibrated, and see if it actually records anything. Okay, so that was a pain in the arse to put back together, mainly because of the shield at the bottom, the metal shield and the pressure pad. They were a bit hard to fit back in again, but we got there. One other quick observation is that this is a 90, and mostly the Type 0s or the 3 packs for £1 or the stuff on market stalls like the Maxim and all that, they were C60s because, you know, people were buying a tape, get me a tape. So if you're competing on price, you'd make it a C60 because you're using less tape. You know, but this is a C90, so I'm going to use a CR-7 basically because if this deck can't calibrate it, none of my decks can. Let's hope it doesn't grind my heads off while it's doing it, but let's see if it calibrates. Alright, it's calibrated it. That's the start. That's a good sign. So I'm going to run this running peaking at 0. I don't expect this tape to be able to handle 0, but I'm not going to push this. It's not a super ferric or anything, so let's just keep it a nice round 0. So the track I'm going to be using is another one from Gunnar Olsen. I love his tracks on the YouTube audio library. In fact, I'm going to download all of them and make myself a little compilation cassette, I believe, just to listen to because they are that good. And this one is called New Beginning. So let's have a see how this tape handles it, if it handles it at all. Well, as I've said before, there's nothing more surprising than a surprise. This isn't a Type 0. Yeah, I could hear little dropouts on that. Yeah, there is high-end roll-off. But let me get into, for those of you who are not maybe that into cassettes or are just new to it, what we mean by a Type 0. There are 4 cassette types. Type 1, which is normal bias. Type 2, which is high chrome bias. Type 3, which is ferrochrome bias, which is very rare and didn't get used much out of the 70s. And then there's Type 4, which is metal. So what is Type 0? Type 0 is a slang term used for cassettes that are so bad that they're not even passable as a Type 1. They're not good enough for recording sounds on. So the slang term for them is a Type 0, and if they're a Type 0, it means they're crap that just shouldn't be used and they should be thrown away. This I fully expected to be a cassette like that, but it's not. I'm not saying this is a good Type 1, but what I am saying is it's usable. You know, for what these cost, these were probably 50p a cassette, you know, back in the day. Or you got them in multi-packs for a couple of quid off a market stall. These were cheap. These were much cheaper than, you know, brands you've heard of like Maxell or TDK or Sony. These will have been cheaper than those back in the 80s. But most of them weren't usable. This is. I mean, not being funny, right? You get these recording music for listening on your Walkman while you're on the bus or the train or whatever. There's ambient sound anyway. So you're not going to get the perfect listening experience. So you wouldn't hear the tiny dropouts. You wouldn't notice the treble roll-off. In fact, you'd only notice a treble roll-off because we're switching between the source and the cassette. But just played in a Walkman on the bus or in the car where there's ambient noise, this would have been a perfectly decent performer. This would have been usable. And yeah, that is a surprise because everything about this, the brand, the packaging says this will be Type 0 and it would just not be suitable for recording music on. But as it turns out, it is. Well, hey. The truth. So as they say, never judge a book by its cover. Unless it's Razzle, then you can very much judge the book by the cover. But yeah, if I was buying these back in the day to use in the car, to use in my Walkman, you know, give to friends, maybe even record computer data on, yeah, these actually are a very usable, low-level ferric that were cheap to buy, I'm very sure, and you wouldn't mind if they melted in the car or your mate lost it or whatever, because the virtually probably would have been at a disposable price. The fact that a C90 is nice as well, but yeah, this isn't going to get destroyed. I actually quite like this cassette with its retro kitsch good looks. I mean, it does look a bit like some of the modern Chinese cassettes we get, them like them BKBs and crap, and they genuinely are Type 0 and unusable. This is a better quality tape in it than they are, and like I said, this is easily going to be 35 years old probably, and cost less back in them days than these Chinese do now. So yeah, especially with, like I say, the wannabe TDK knockoff wrapper. See if we can get it back in there again. Yeah, this is actually a nice little thing for the collection. I'm quite happy to have that in there. In fact, I might even put Gunnar Nielsen's tracks on this just for posterity, because again, yeah, they've got a bit of roll off at the top end, but I won't hear that when I'm listening to it because I've got nothing to compare it to when you're just playing the tape. But yeah, so yeah, Academy, strange brand, because like I say, they did have some good, well-respected stuff. Like I said, the walkie-talkie headphones I had were good, and they're supposedly very good at making CB radios back in the day. They were respected for that. So maybe Academy are a better brand, a bit of a level up than the likes of Maxim were, but maybe these are sort of in Bush Amstrad category, who knows. But yeah, I'm very pleased with that little cassette. It's a nice little surprise. So don't forget, please subscribe to my other channel, Tony's Toy Chest, That's a nice video for you to watch. I need the subscribers so I can unlock features on YouTube to get more reach. So there's nearly 21,000 of you subscribed here, and I've got like 600 of you subscribing to Tony's Toy Chest. You don't have to watch the videos. You don't have to smash the bell. What does that mean? Smash the bell. If you're listening on a tablet, smash the bell. You don't want to do that. Stupid nomenclature of modern age. But anyhow, yeah. And then boss it, you know. What do you mean boss it? Yeah. Anyway, so if you could just subscribe to Tony's Toy Chest, it will give me more impetus to do more cassette videos. Very much appreciated. And don't forget, over in Canada, Tony Cruz at CassetteComeback.com has loads of new cassettes in. He's actually sending me some to review, so give Tony some love. Go over there, and if you're on the other side of the Atlantic, you know, that's a good place to get some great cassettes from for a great price. So until the next video, happy taping. Take care. Bye-bye.